Hi guys! Welcome to Ignite, Light Up Your Life. I am your host Lacy, and today I'm going to talk to you about seasonal affective disorder and a couple ways that you can beat the winter blues. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and ding that bell for updates. Now, I don't know about you, but when it starts to get a little bit darker and colder, I get a little bit depressed. So what do you do when this happens and you get the winter blues? Really bites, doesn't it? And a lot of places, if you're living in places like the Midwest, you are confined to the indoors. There's not a lot you can do when it is 30 below zero and really windy. So a lot of times it can be really isolating and really depressing, and it's really difficult to crawl out of a hole that you've dug yourself into. Wah, wah, wah. So what do we do when this happens? And why is this happening? So first of all, seasonal affective disorder is something that can affect everyone, and they don't really know exactly why it exists, but the theory is the changes in the light of the sun affects our circadian rhythm, and it also affects our hormones, serotonin and melatonin, which affect our sleep and our happiness. So how can we battle this? What can we do to get more sunshine in our lives? There's a cool little tool out there, and it's called, I think it's called a Mr. Happy Light, or like a sun lamp. It's a sun lamp. They delivers lux volts, in which you stare at it in the morning when the sun would be rising, and it helps to reset your circadian rhythm. You can find these on Amazon. You can just type in circadian rhythm lamp. The ones I've seen have little round happy faces, and you turn them on, and you just basically, when you wake up in the morning, you stare at it for 30 minutes, and then you go about your day. You could probably also do this with like a ring light. I know my ring light is pretty bright like the sun, so if I need a little bit of light therapy, I can go sit in front of my ring light for about 30 minutes after I wake up. Also tanning. Tanning can be a great way to get your vitamin D in, which is another factor of seasonal affective disorder and contributor to depression. A lot of people do not have enough vitamin D in their diet. You get that from the sun. And a lot of people, especially when you're confined to the indoors, it can really affect your vitamin D levels. So if you're not taking a vitamin D supplement, you might want to talk with your doctor about that. But if you want to know how much, if you are able to take a vitamin D supplement, it's usually about 2,000 IUs in the winter. But don't go over that, because vitamin D in large quantities can be toxic. So make sure to get yourself a high quality vitamin D supplement, and one that doesn't have any nasty fillers in it, and take about 2,000 IUs a day. I like the under the tongue drops, so that would be two drops if it's 1,000 IUs. So you can also go tanning, which delivers those UV rays. If you went in the morning, it would be really great to help reset your sleep cycle, and get that vitamin D going. And that's another way to kind of get you out of the house and maybe get you into the gym, because a lot of gyms have these tanning beds, and in the wintertime it's really difficult. We don't want to go outside because it's cold out, and we don't want to hit the gym because a lot of people are sick. The flu is going around, people don't wipe things down. It's a hub for that. After the new year, everybody's piling in there because there's the New Year's resolutions, which is great, but it just kind of raises those risk factors of getting sick and just not wanting to kind of go. And a lot of people don't actually have a good workout plan that inspires them to go and enjoy the gym. So if you don't have a good workout plan, I would highly advise getting with a personal trainer that works with you and creates something that would inspire you to go to the gym. It's a great way to socialize. It's a great way to get out there in the wintertime, and they're available all over. You can, and most of them are cheap. If you don't have access to that, and you can't afford it, you can create a personal floor routine at home with stretch bands. Just move your body, do something. Exercise is so important to helping to battle seasonal affective disorder and just mood in general. Routine is very important in managing moods, especially if you are bipolar or have any sort of mental illness. Having a steady routine and practicing good sleep hygiene is really, really important. It's actually pivotal if you have bipolar. Everything is dependent on your sleep. So I encourage you to get a good sleep hygiene routine going. That means no devices in your room. They can emit light, which is disturbing when you sleep. They have electromagnetic pulses, and those notifications are never good. Turn those notifications off. Most cell phones now have digital well-being on them that you can set constraints, that can even set timers to shut apps off like Facebook. When you're overusing it. So you want to make sure that your digital health is in check, because it can really contribute to depression and not being able to sleep and just overall not wanting to be social in the real world. There's a lot of people that are abusing digital media and binging it, and they are not finding joy in other things. Try reading, art, music. Sit with your music and read a book, or just sit and meditate. Do some exercises, socialize with friends, have a game night, find something you enjoy. There's a lot of different games out there. There's so many different board games. There's a lot of different card games. We love to do Magic the Gathering. I mean, it's a really endless fun entertainment that you can just continue to do for the rest of your and different board games and things are you're able to connect with other people that you wouldn't be able to connect with. Get away from those video games. Try to disconnect. And having a sleep hygiene, you want to at least disconnect from your cell phone, your internet, your social media, even TV an hour before bed. I would encourage reading before bed, taking a hot bath or a shower, and then reading and go to sleep. That is a great way to kind of set your night up. You need to plan. You need to plan these things and get re-inspired about your life. The winter time is a great time to plan the rest of your year out and what your 3 to 5 year plan is and what you want from your life. Most people aren't living very consciously, therefore they are just kind of going through day to day and not planning what their future holds. And 5 years goes by and they're still in the same spot that they were 5-6 years ago, and they're wondering how they got there. Well, it was failure to plan and failure to be engaged in your life. And the great time to do that is during the winter. You reap the harvest in the spring when you're sowing your seeds in the winter, and that is the truth. And so you want to be able to still tend your garden in the winter, basically. And that's another, do research, find something you love, find a hobby. Do something that you really enjoy. Get active. Make sure you're drinking enough water. That's kind of a different point that I'm getting off on, but your diet, and your water is really important on all levels of health, all times of the year. But people tend to fall off the wagon with drinking water, especially in the winter time, because it's cold and you don't really want to drink cold water, and people just kind of get a little more dehydrated in the winter time. And you want to make sure to drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water. Increase that if you're drinking coffee or you have any diuretics. If you're exercising, you're going to want to drink plenty of water, in order to kind of get things moving too. And then with your diet, pay attention to what you're eating in the winter, because in the wintertime people tend to fall off the wagon because they don't want to go out and go shopping and take the extra effort because school is on and there's so many different things, and it's just difficult to kind of get things scheduled and in a routine. And I would encourage you to do meal prep. I would encourage you to go shopping once a week and have a good list of what you're going to do. Try a meal delivery service if that works for you. I really like HelloFresh and Green Chef. Those are wonderful, alternatives for people who are super busy. I myself use the Green Chef right now. It's just a good thing for me because I don't want to have to think about it. I'm busy. I don't have time for this. So I don't use it every day, but I do use it 3 days out of the week so that I can not think about what I'm going to cook for dinner. And then I have these little cool cheat cards that they give you to cook the recipe, and I use those to meal prep for the week. That way, and then I have an Instapot, and I don't even have to, it goes from frozen to cooked in 30 minutes, and I don't have to worry about it. So, get these little health hacks going for the winter. Winters can be really overwhelming for families because they've got a lot of activities going on. Your kiddos are going to all of their stuff. You're basically being a taxi. Then you have snow. There's all you have to, shovel, clean, all these things that you have to do. Make sure you have a routine, get a list going, make sure to schedule some time for you to relax, take a warm bath, a warm shower, have a social life, do something that's not digital, make sure that you are not drinking a lot during the winter. People get caught up in this cycle of really drinking a lot or getting high a lot, now that weed is legal. It's really easy to fall in these cycles of substance abuse and digital abuse. I myself fall into these holes sometimes. I don't drink, but I do indulge once in a while in the marijuana, and it's just, it is not healthy to continually do this day after day, every moment of the day, and know that it's easily accessible. And during the holidays, it is really, fun to drink with your friends and have a glass of wine, and mommy needs wine. But truly, it is not good for you. You wake up bloated, you wake, with a hangover, a headache, whatever. It can be contributing to a host of problems in your health. Cut it down a little bit, moderation. Moderation is always key for everything. I mean, that includes sugar. Sugar is another thing. People tend to pack on the pounds in the winter because they're not moving, not drinking enough water, they're not sleeping. And they're not eating right. They're, eating a lot of cinnamon rolls or whatever, whatever baked goods during the winter time. You want to go towards warm things. So I would suggest increasing your root vegetables. In order to have a healthy diet, you're going to want to focus on whole foods. Most people do know this, but for those of you who don't, you're going to want to focus on whole foods. And what whole foods are things like whole vegetables, grains like, rice, quinoa, amaranth, barley, wheat for those of you who can have wheat, that don't have a medical condition, things like whole cheese, eggs, whole organic meats, whole fruits. Focus on a whole foods diet and live by the 80-20 or 90-10 rule, which is 80% of the time you eat whole foods, and then 20% of the time you can go have, Ben and Jerry's or whatever it is your indulgence is. And the 90-10 is for those of you who want to lose weight and keep it off. So 90% of the time you do what's good, but you always need a little bit of lean room to do something that brings you joy. And if you're a foodie, food brings you joy. I'm a foodie, and I really like to, indulge in that. So, make sure that you make room for yourself, especially this winter, especially if you're a family and you are taking care of kids and you're trying to get people places and take care of yourself. Don't forget to focus on yourself. You really need to focus on yourself at least once a week. Take a hot bath, eat a good meal, have a quiet time, listen to some good music, color in a coloring book, do some art, read a book. There's so many things that you can do. We need to get back to our roots. Remember, I know a lot of you out there are 90s kids. Come on, we used to ride our bikes, go rollerblading, coloring, all sorts of fun stuff. And so get back to doing things besides being on your phone. And that's probably the biggest thing that I could say is get off your computer and your phone and start living your life. Even if it's cold outside, you can still find things that inspire you to be your best self and work on what you're going to harvest in the fall and winter, if that makes sense. You can't reap in the fall what you're not sowing in the winter. So take this opportunity to invest in being your best self. Get if you have seasonal affective disorder and you just don't feel like doing anything and you don't have any inspiration whatsoever, grab a friend who does. find a friend, even if they annoy the crap out of you and they're like bubbly SpongeBob. Get around people that are upbeat and positive and are ready to go, because they might help inspire you to find that thing inside of you that you have let go dormant, because there's something in all of us. There's something in all of us. So I encourage you all to find that thing, get around people that inspire and uplift you. And if you don't have a community, you can find community within different places like the gym. If you're struggling with addictions of any kind, I would really encourage a recovery community of any kind. They've got other things besides NA and AA and Al-Anon. They do have Celebrate Recovery for people who are into Christianity, and then they have a couple of other different things out there now that I'm not really sure of all the different names. Because every town is different, but they also have like NAMI, which is a mental health group that you meet every once a month, and you talk about your mental wellness and your struggles, and you can and family members can go who have other family members who struggle with mental health. If you have a lot of grief, you can go there and talk to people, and it's confidential. It's a great resource. Start grouping it up like on Fight Club, and they go to different groups, and it's just kind of meeting new people. That's what you have to do. Get out there, go to the library, get some books, attend a seminar, go to church, find a church. If you're not religious and you're not into Christianity, try Unitarian Universalist Church. That's for everyone. Atheists even go there, just find community. It's all about community. If you don't have community, and you're in isolation, even though I tend to isolate myself, especially when I'm not feeling well, I do tend to isolate, but it just takes you into deeper isolation. Heck, get out there, go to a concert by yourself, meet some friends. It doesn't take much, but just a compliment of someone's, something that you like. I like your earrings, I like your makeup, I like your shoes, I like your handbag. That's a segue into a conversation. And then, if you don't know what to say to someone, ask about them. Just practice the art of listening and asking them. And, do it afraid. My mom always used to tell me to do things afraid. And I wasn't really a big social person. I've never been a part of any one clique. I've always been like a floater. I've been a fringe dweller. I was like a gothic cowboy, like hippie chick, I don't even know. So I, glitter tribe stuff, girl tribe. But, if you're a female, males, if you are in, even gay guy, like people that are easier to fit into girl tribe. There's this thing, it's like called girl tribe. And a lot of women just band together, and it's really easy for us to make friends if you're just open to it, and you make a compliment and you find something that you're both interested in, and it's easier for people who identify more with their feminine side to kind of get involved in girl tribe, but I feel like men, unfortunately, like traditional men, they don't have the girl tribe. I mean, like like the bro guys, they have their bro tribes, but like just men out there, a lot of them are really struggling, and that's sad. So what we've tried to do is kind of increase our couple friends, because we're into being monogamous, and we're really traditional. My husband and I are very traditional, and we want to have friends who have similar values. We're open to all walks of life, but we've started to hang out with people and have couples nights to where we can have games and dinner and just enjoy each other, and we have all walks of life come through there, and we have all different sorts of friends, and we share houses, take turns and stuff, and it took a long time to build community, but through Facebook groups and on Facebook, I've actually been able to reach out and find more community, which is really cool. So with the digital world, it's a really great way to reach out and find people and meet people of like interests, and kind of build a community of people. One of the things I'm going to be doing is bringing to you my community of people. I have some friends that are experts in their fields, experts at what they do. They're just really awesome at what they do. I have a friend who is really great at crafting. She is really also wonderful at hair, very colorful, very bright, very vibrant. She's going to be showing us how to do crafts. My mom is she's a money guru. She like knows how to deal with your finances more than anybody I've ever met, and so I'm going to have her come on and talk about money and how to deal with your finances and get that in check. And then I have a couple other friends, that specialize. I have a few doctor friends. I'm going to have doc talks, and we're going to talk about naturopathic medicine, integrative medicine, and I have some counselor friends. My husband is going to be talking about mental wellness, and he's in his master's degree for counseling. So we're going to be bringing in some experts to help you build a better life, a life by divine design, just to kind of complete your circle. There's so many things that go into living a life with purpose, driven, the purpose-filled life, it's everything from diet to career to social, family, your creativity. It's actually called the Wheel of Life. If you would Google it, I can also put a link to it in the comments here. It's called the Wheel of Life, and all of those things contribute to our overall happiness. And so when they're out of balance, it's really difficult to get out of these slumps. I was just in one. If you deal with chronic pain, I feel you, because I have a lot of grief and a lot of pain. A lot of chronic pain physically. I have a back injury which causes me to not have feeling in my right foot, and I have different things that are a problem for me, and so it's getting better, and thankfully I'm going to be having some medical stuff done that I'll be in tip-top shape here soon. But it's been a long journey, and I have been depressed, and I was taking pharmaceutical medication that was not good for me. I was forgetful. I thought I had aphasia, where I don't remember my words. I still struggle with remembering my words. There's some after effects of that. I was very foggy. I couldn't bring myself to get off the couch. I would go to work, come home, get on the couch, watch TV, which is very uncharacteristic of me to not be creative and working and doing something. And I just gave up. I didn't really care. So it was like, who cares? Why should I care? And it wasn't until about a month or two ago that I got off the medication for dealing with my pain and just decided to switch over to a more natural plan and kind of do a couple other things, that I was able to kind of get my head out of the clouds. And I was still pretty unenthused with life and not wanting to do anything until I joined this thing called Startup Society with a YouTube girl called Gillian Perkins here, and she's really, really wonderful if you want to start a business, especially for YouTube. And she just inspired me. She was just really sweet and inspired me, and I decided to give it a shot. My husband was very supportive and helpful, and has been very supportive and helpful of my journey. I have been trying to be a online health coach for wellness advocate basically for over about 6 years now, and I just haven't, with all the things that have happened. I've had family members that have passed on very tragically. My little brother committed suicide. I, got in a car accident, which flipped my, I had a lot of things going on. So, and I just wasn't there. And so now here I am. I'm bringing everything that I've learned from all of the difficulties that I've had to endure in the last, decade, really over a decade, to help some of you out there that might be struggling with your mental health and with addiction and with recovery. I'm not perfect. I, have my things, but I am here to kind of guide people into living a more holistic and integrative life and taking charge of their health and their mindfulness and their mental health. And I really encourage all of you to start looking at your diet, start reading labels, increase your water, get your sleep on hold, lower your device use, try to increase your social life, and get more active, and just try to live a life of purpose and find what it is that inspires you. And with that is my talk about the seasonal affective disorder. I'll come on more this week and talk a little bit more in depth about depression and seasonal affective disorder. I kind of went on a tangent here. I'm known to do that. And I'm going to be having my husband, he will be going live in our Facebook group here, I believe next week, to talk about how to choose a counselor and what the differences are between different mental wellness professionals, and kind of helping you to know what's out there for you and what's available, and what the mental health field actually is and where it comes from, and what you need to know about it to take charge of your health in that capacity. So he's going to be covering the mental health aspects for the most part. I'll come in and touch a little bit on the lifestyle part of it, and the naturopathic perspective, the integrative medicine perspective of it, the things that I know and that I practice and that the physicians that I work with practice. And we will together, and with a few of our other friends, we're going to try and paint a whole picture for you so that you can reset your life and get on to living your dreams, manifesting your desires. That word gets thrown around a lot, but I've manifested my life. I have manifested unbelievable things. That's for another day. I will go into that more later on. Some of you out there are not woo-woo. That's fine. But we're all about creating a life of divine design here. I'm not going to push any agenda on anybody, but I do believe that we can create a life of our choosing, and so that's what I'm here to help you do. I hope that this can be helpful, and I hope that some of these tips and tricks, if only one, can be of use to you this winter and all year. So with that, I will say goodbye, and next time I will have another video releasing on Thursday. Join my group, Ignite, Light Up Your Life in Facebook. There is a link below to continue this conversation. We will be talking about this in the group. We will be having live videos that are not going to be posted here on YouTube. We do have different conversations going on in there. So join us there. I will be offering programs in the future. We're going to get some resources here to you so that you can get to living your best life. Have a wonderful week, you guys. Ciao.